Okay. I think this is working. We'll see though. Is my audio working? I guess that's like always the big question. Is can anyone hear me or I'm also kind of curious what the delay is. Okay. Raise my mic here. Maybe that's a little bit better on the volume. I might just need to talk louder. Okay, cool. Have to eat the mic. All right. We'll give this a few more minutes. For the folks that are here, is there anything specific you want me to cover? So we're building a macOS app here for image editing. Is there anything specific you want me to be sure to cover, other than just going through the process as I normally would here? I mean, I say normal, like I've not built much with in Xcode. I've done some, but a lot of this is going to be me like trying to figure out stuff. So other than that process, is there anything specific anybody wants me to cover? Also, is the sizing of the editor here fine, or is it tiny? Like I don't have an abnormally weird aspect ratio screen or anything. Like I don't have an ultra wide, but I understand that this might be so tiny you can't see the code. So if that's the case, let me know. Florin, to your question about remaining on the channel to watch later, yeah, absolutely. I think as soon as this is over, it'll be, or as soon as we're done live streaming, it'll just be saved and available to watch. Let's see, we'll increase the editor font size a little bit. And I'll talk through this cursor rules file some too, and then we'll also be hopping into Xcode for stuff here. Okay, well, let's jump in and we'll see what happens. This is primarily a test run for tomorrow, where the plan is to build a web-based, like JavaScript, incremental clicker game, but like with a post-apocalyptic theme here. So I don't know if you're familiar with universal paperclips, but it's like you click a button and it makes a thing, and then you click the button and it makes another thing, and but then there's all these different upgrades you can do to like automate all that stuff, and then you just sort of keep scaling things up. So we're going to try to build something like that with using just AI and relatively vanilla JavaScript. So that's tomorrow. Neo says the audio is glitched. Is anybody else having audio issues before I just keep rambling? in theory, it should be fine, but. Which maybe I should probably save. Okay. I'm also going to record my side of things in OBS just to hopefully, if something is glitched on the audio, we can upload it later. Okay, so let's hop into how I would build something with Xcode. So most recently for an app I've got called Tool Stash, which is, track your tools, hammers, screwdrivers, power tools, all that kind of stuff. I built an iOS app with it. So that was, that's been in the past month or so. So that's somewhat fresh on my mind, but I've also built a game for iOS. That was like a year and a half ago. I have not done a macOS app at all here. So this will be fresh to me. I don't have a ton of experience here. So I'm leaning heavily on AI and specifically Cursor to sort of guide that and hopefully answer my questions and get me out of binds here. But if you've got questions, please post them in the chat and I'll answer them in real time as much as I can. And yeah, this will definitely be available after the fact too, to watch and maybe watch it like 2x speed or something, so you can fast forward or make it through if this ends up being a long recording. Okay, so what we're building today, image editor. So the use case here is frequently for things like, imagine like a social media post or, or just for a blog post or something like that. Like I need to do, a lot of times I'll have to do these very basic image editing functions. So this is like cropping an image, resizing an image, making it smaller, making it bigger, whatever, and then optimizing the image. So, there's different things you can do to reduce the image file size while still maintaining quality. So those are like the only things that I will frequently like open up Photoshop just to do that, which is super overkill. And I kind of have always wanted some little very basic image editing thing. This will not have like photo effects or drawing abilities or anything like that. This is, I want to crop it, I want to resize it, and then I want to optimize it. So we're going to attempt to build that for macOS. And we're going to start here aiming for Swift UI as the method to do this, which lets us then also bring in some just more basic Swift stuff. That may prove to not be the best path, and we might switch over to just straight up Swift. We'll potentially cross that bridge when we get there. So to start off here, I've got my cursor rules file, my .cursor rules file. So in Cursor, you can guide the sort of overall, like these are sort of rules that you're telling Cursor to always keep in mind whenever it's responding to things. And that is available under the general Cursor settings. So it has rules for AI. Now you can put something here, if it's the same across all apps or any project, then just throw it here in this text box and call it a day. However, if you're working in different programming languages, then this will get out of hand here and it won't be all that useful. So what I do 100% of the time is just have a Cursor rules file that's included in every project, and it's specific. It's got some specific things just for that project. So in this case, I'm telling it to focus on Swift UI, use the latest versions of Swift UI and Swift. If you were doing, say you're doing something JavaScript, you might mention the JavaScript framework you are or are not using. Then generally this stuff is the same. There's another example here might be like I'll add for a Rails app, tell it to not create the migration file. Like I want to use the Rails generator for that. So don't create the migration file. Just tell me what command to run in the console or in the terminal to do that. So that's the kind of stuff here. But regardless, I always do a Cursor rules file. That's sort of the first thing. And so that's what we're gonna do here. I have not done a ton. Frequently what I'll do is so like a Rails app, I'll do a Rails generator, which then produces a bunch of the code, the initial framework, and then I start using Cursor. In this case, I'm going to start chatting with Cursor first before there's any code. And in this case, I'm specifically going to ask it how to sort of set this up in Xcode before it gives me code. And the deal with Xcode is I can't create files in Cursor. They have to be created in Xcode, or Xcode won't recognize them as existing. So that's going to likely, unless someone's aware of a way around that, I would love it if there was, we won't be able to use the composer for this. So I'll just close that. So the composer will automatic. Well, I say we can't use it. We might still be able to use it, actually. We'll see. But generally speaking, the composer is capable of creating files, and we need it to not create the files. We have to create them in Xcode first, and then Cursor you can edit them there. Otherwise, Xcode won't recognize them. So that's sort of the downside at the moment, and I'm not sure of a way around it. Either way, let's jump in. We'll start with a chat here just to try to make sure I'm understanding how to set this up correctly. So we'll say building a macOS image editor with 3 very specific and basic functions. 1, cropping images, 2, resizing images, and 3, optimizing images, reducing file size without reducing quality. I'm new to Xcode. Do not write any code yet, but tell me the specific steps to setting up a new Xcode project. So we'll chat. This is this is sort of the equivalent. Context doesn't matter at this point, really, other than my Cursor rules file. There's obviously no code for it to read. So this is almost like just chatting directly. I'm using Claude. It's almost like just chatting with Claude specifically. Okay, so we need to launch Xcode, create a new project. I think this is all. Let's see. If this is anything I didn't already know, I think it's fine. Okay, so we'll switch over to Xcode. We want a macOS app. We'll call it image editor. We'll call it simple image, because why not? All right, that's fine. Swift, blah, blah, blah. Next. I've created a folder. Okay, so I'm gonna have to make that bigger. Okay, so if we switch back to Cursor here, you can see all of these files for Xcode are in here now. And this now means Cursor has context. Sometimes I'll go into code indexing and just hit re-index so that it's able to read. I don't know how often, if this is a frequency thing, but I find myself regularly having to resync the index in Cursor so that it's aware of that stuff. So now so we're done with that particular part of the chat. Now if there's no new files that need to be created, it can go in and actually edit the files for us, and we'll do that. So let's see. Let me just make sure. Okay, so here's our preview here, just a simple hello world. Now the first thing we want to do is be able to drag and drop images. So let's try the composer. Nah, no, I don't think that it matters at this point. We're gonna do full code-based chat instead of the composer because of the whole file creation issue. So then we'll see how this goes. Okay, first feature to build is dragging in an image to edit. How do I do that? Oops, hold on. So in this case, we need context, so we're going to say the whole code base. So that's either return or command return, and it's going to search the files for that and tell us what to do. So while I don't use chat straight up for most projects at this point, but because of the way the Xcode works, we can still make use of we don't have to type this or even copy paste it, right? So it's talking about content view. So you can click on that. Here it is. And then you can just do apply and accept and then make sure to save it. We swap back and you can see here, it's updated it. And our preview over here is showing that we can drag and drop an image here. Now, so let's see, in theory, we display the dropped image in the view. It's kind of explaining things to me. Let's see. Let me see if there's anything else. Let me see. I don't know if I can actually drag and drop stuff into, well, okay. In theory that works, but hold on. I want to reset or clear that before to see if this is even a thing. Okay. Let's see. Add a button to clear or reset, remove the current image. And for the most part, I do this sort of chat with the whole code base until it becomes very clear that it's getting confused with other parts of the app, or I know I'm very certain that I'm only working within the context of this one file. Otherwise, I'll chat with the whole thing. So let's see. So what it's done is and this is part of the cursor rules thing. It's being very verbose. It's showing the original file and then saying replace that with this. You can change the cursor rules so that it doesn't do all this stuff for you. The idea here is that what I say to myself is that it helps me understand what's happening more instead of it just doing it. It's telling me what's going on. But in this case, okay, I believe you, cool, apply to content view. Yeah. So it's going to go through here and it shows the diff. Sounds good. Whoops. Okay, so we'll try. Okay, clear image. Well, the preview does work. That's kind of cool. Now this is a random thing. You don't have to get this specific, but I want it to use the what is it? SF symbols I want to use the symbol stuff instead of this clear image button that looks a little whatever. So use SF symbols for the clear button instead of the generic button. Blah, blah, blah. So it's telling me everything. And then this is, it's saying here is what actually needs to be changed. So I'll hit apply. It's looking for it. Okay, there's the diff. Save it. Swap back to Xcode. Drop in. All right, we've got this little X in the word clear image. So that's neat. All right. Now I'm going to do a new chat. This basically gives us new context. So we're going to say, let's implement the first feature, which is image cropping. Take the image that's dragged and dropped in the app and let's see, actually, hold on. First, 3 buttons of actions to take on the image, which are crop, resize, and optimize. Use SF symbols. Fine. Okay. I could probably tell it to ignore some of this stuff. I don't know what all these random files are. Or actually, that's one file, and it's line numbers. So I'm not sure how relevant that is. Derek, to your question, could I have started by adding a rough wireframe of the interface? Yeah. So you can add an image and I do find that can be useful. So yes, a wireframe, like simple wireframe, you could do the design itself, like take a screenshot of your Figma file and add it as an image, and it will do a relatively decent job of kind of putting things where they're supposed to go. Okay, display. Let's see. I think this is the same. Yeah, this is still content view. Let's see. I think we just need to apply. Cool. So there we go. You can see it's added these toolbar buttons. Yada yada yada. Accept, save, and okay. So first little error here. Cannot find toolbar in Xcode. That may be a. Or are we supposed to create a file? Oh, well. So let me specifically select this line and add it to chat. And then we'll see what it's telling us to do. I don't know anything about toolbar. So we'll see what it tells us is going on. Okay. Well, so it's going for a V stack instead, or H. Yeah, I don't. That's probably some sort of Xcode thing, either past or I don't know if it's a upcoming. I don't know. Either way, let's just we'll apply this. Guessing it's going to replace this whole toolbar thing. Okay. Now I'll swap back. Okay, that error's gone. Drag this. Whoops. Uh-oh. Now I can't. Let's see. It's not letting me. I'm going to try building it, which I think starts the simulator. Yeah. Okay, so we have another issue. Now dragging, dropping images isn't working. For now, I'm just going to chat specifically with this document because I don't think that the other parts matter. That's just my hunch, though. Okay. I'll apply that. There we go. Fix that. It messed up our clear image thing. This we might add that as a fourth. You know what? Let's actually go ahead and do that. Let's make the clear image option our button of part of the overall image actions toolbar. So what it should do is basically add it to the H stack. Loading. All right, cool. We need to probably do some sort of minimum size on. Let's see if the clear button even works. Yeah. We'll do new chat. At a minimum size on the app window. I have no idea what though. Like, maybe is this a pixel thing or like a percentage? Well, I'll just say that and see what it picks. Okay, so it's saying this would actually probably be higher up. So let me cancel what we're actually do chat. We'll do the whole code base instead of just the app because it's saying you want to do that higher up. Cool, great, fantastic. Okay. Apply that. Save it. Swap back. That still seems something. Like. Oh wait, I know it's wrong. I'm just in content view, and not. Let's see. Add ability to preview to an Xcode. I don't feel like that's right. At the root level. Chat with the whole file again. Which I don't know. Maybe you can't do. You can't preview. Because what I'm like, there's this right here, the preview content view. I don't know if that's possible in the whatever this is called in the app file. Well, it says it's possible, so we'll see. Okay. Let's see if that. My hunch is this just isn't. Hold up. Can you actually do preview in the root app file? I'm getting a cannot, what's it called? Cannot preview in this file. File error. Okay, so that's fine. Well, we'll see. Let's try this. Let's kill the preview. Let me just build it and see if when we do the. Okay, so we're still not. I'm not happy with where this is. I think we're getting confused. Our cursor is getting confused now. Let's also do that. The window. Let me try one other thing first, just to make sure. So we preview that or build that. Yeah, it's not. The default size isn't working. The default size isn't app is still launching as a small square, and I can't resize the window. Let's see. I don't know what they're doing here, but we're going to see if that does anything. Well, at the very least, I can resize that. We drag that in, clear it. Oops. Okay. That looks terrible. That's fine though. I still don't really love this. Man, I don't know. That's bothering me. The app is still not launching at that width. Let's try a different approach. Let's. Oh, so there's now they're wanting to do it. Okay, so we'll update that. Neat. Now they want us to. I'm talking like it's like a back room full of lemmings or something doing this. Maybe it is. All right, let's see what happens here. Oops. Well, okay. Yeah, that does work actually. That's comically large, but let's say 1,000 on that now. So it should be taller. Yay. Okay. Drop that in there. This is interesting. Well, whatever this is, I think I like it better. I want to move all of these buttons across the top now. Okay. Move all button actions to be above the image. Make it a more traditional macOS toolbar situation. And I don't know, I'm going to say chat with the whole code base because I don't know, if we're going to need to touch other files here. Okay, so we'll apply that, accept that, see if there's anything else. No. So there's our images across the top, or toolbar across the top. That's fine. I still don't love the design of this, but I need functionality first, then we'll go back and design this stuff. How's my preview work? Okay, generally speaking, that works. So we'll stay there. Let's implement the first image action, which is cropping. After an image is added and the user presses the crop button, show cropping tools. We don't know what this will do. No idea. Because what I don't know is is image editing functionality, is that part of Apple's tool set here? Maybe. Maybe not. Okay. So it's still throwing it in content view. It's adding, hold on. That seems silly. Do I need to create new files for this? Or am I still shoving it all inside content view. All right, so create a new file called crop view. So we have to switch back to Xcode for this. We'll do a new file. It's a Swift file. Name it crop view. Wonderful. Okay, and then this will go in crop view. Neato. Now let's modify content view to use crop view. Deal. Maybe. Yeah. I think. Okay. Let's see what happens. Content view. We got ourselves an error. So copy that. Where's our, which line was this? 48. Right here. So we'll add that to the chat along with our error. I don't know what any of that means. That's fine. So this is in crop view first. We need to apply some changes. And then in content view, apply some more changes that do things. And in theory, that works. Okay. Let's see if this matters, if we start here or not. Cool. Crop. Okay. I don't seeing any actual cropping tools handles when I click the crop button. Which I legit have no idea. Apparently, so there's a drag gesture that implies that there's some sort of ability to do things to the image. Okay. Let's update the crop rows. Crop views. There's a lot of stuff. Okay. So if we go back here, we'll apply. Yeah. Good bit of code there, guys. Make sure to update the content view to use this in the new. Replace these lines. Content view. Okay. Let's give it a go. Crop. Well, there's something. Holy moly. Yeah. Okay. So let's say the cropping tools still don't work. To while lab and read, it's just reviewing and approving code. Yeah, absolutely, man. I don't want to touch the code. That's the whole point of this. Coding is not. This is not like artisan code here. Coding is not a craft for me. It's a means to an end. I want an image editor, so I need to build it, but I don't care to spend years of my life figuring out how to become like some expert in Swift code. I just want the thing to exist. So this helps me make it exist real fast. The cropping tools still don't work like Does it feels like a bunch of junior devs? Great, fantastic, go for it. But I don't have to have a bunch of junior devs. I just have me by myself. I don't have to hire a bunch of junior devs. Okay, so it works like I want them to. They should always start with the bounds of the image itself. Okay. And like this is the part of we're like getting in the weeds of slowly hacking away at like getting this to be interesting, I guess. You know, this is obviously not some amazing macOS app. Yeah, but we'll get there, hopefully. Okay, let's implement crop view. That's in crop view. Then now, what is that in? Where, I think that's also in crop view. Oh, yeah. Sometimes this part takes a bit. Yeah, like there are times when it will, I mean, quite literally instantly update all this stuff. Other times it's like it's going line by line. I'm sure there's some sort of context window size thing that may have already updated this part. Sometimes, if there are multiple edits in the chat and you click apply on one of them, it goes ahead and applies all of the ones that are mentioned here. And I think that's probably the case. Now, let's rebuild this guy, see what happens. That's some weird looking cropping tools, my guy. Like I see, there it is. Yeah, something's still not working right here. Read to your, seeing a comparison for a dev writing an app and then using AI versus see how much time is cut down. I think like it's less about time. It depends, right? I think it's less about time though, and more about enabling people who otherwise weren't going to be able to do the thing at all, right? This is the kind of thing I'm not going to go pay somebody to build this for me, and I don't care enough for myself to go and like spend hours upon hours upon hours learning Swift to get decent enough how to do it. So this thing just wouldn't exist, which is fine, but like I want it to exist. So this lets me make it exist without having, otherwise it just wouldn't exist. Neo, why not use a third-party library for this? So this is actually a good question. And you know, I may read correct. I don't know Swift. I've built a couple of iOS apps using Cursor/AI. But no, I don't know Swift. I mean, like I know how to read, you know, I can like read this and see kind of what's happening, but I would not be able to write this from scratch by myself. No. To Neo's point about the third party library, let's actually, so this is actually a good thing to try here. So the cropping still doesn't work like I'd want. What about using a third-party library to manage image editing modification. While Lab, your question, have I published any apps this way? Yes. So 2. A year and a half ago when GPT-4 came out, I think that was around then, I built a game using just GPT to generate the whole game. It was published in the App Store. I sold it earlier this year. It was called Dodge Blob, which I think it's still in the App Store. And then in the past month or so, I built another app called Tool Stash for like taking pictures of your hammers and power tools and stuff, and then it tracks it all. It was a whole thing. Yes, it's in the App Store. So, or you can go to toolstash.com and see that. So yes, that was all done in Cursor. Okay. Let's get back here about the whole third-party thing. You're right. That use a third-party library for Swift. One of the more popular and well-maintained is called Mantis. Mantis is prime for macOS. Go ahead and look other options. Here are suggestions using a library called Xcode. Actually, let me see if Mantis. Sometimes, like, it thinks. Let's see here. Mantis Swift. Oh, sorry, let me bring over this browser. I don't know what's Catalyst? I feel like I've. Okay, well it says macOS. So apparently Mantis does work with macOS. Let's use that. Scroll to the bottom. Let's see. I was hoping. Okay, so what we're going to do here. Cancel. So let's use that, and then I'm going to app mention this Git repo, so it will then read the contents of all this, and it should guide it a little bit better. While that's loading, I mentioned Tool Stash. Yeah. So this is the app. I built the backend in Rails, so like it's sending a lot of this stuff and storing a lot of stuff in a Rails backend API. But like, yeah, this is still ultimately just a Swift UI app that has a bunch of AI stuff built in as well. So that's that. Okay. Let's see if this is possible, if this works or not. We need to, so it tells us we need to add the package. I do recall vaguely how to do that. Sure. All right, let me read. So we need to create a crop view controller. So we're still waiting for this to load. So we'll need to create a crop view controller, then modify content view to use that. This implementation replaces the crop view, which provides more robust. And it clicks crop the Mantis. Okay. Add the package. Deal. Okay. What was it? Crop view controller we need to create? Yeah. So we'll do new file, Swift file, crop view controller. here. And then that's all added. So then we need to go back to content view. Oops, let me save that. Apply that. And it's saying we'll use the controller instead. I think that's all on that. Let's cross our fingers and see what the heck happens. Whoops. We've already got ourselves an error. So crop view controller. We'll add that to the chat. Say that. Reed asks, what ends up being the cost to this AI? I guess you're saying like credits with cursor. I'm not sure. I currently pay $60 a month to cursor for 1,500, what they call them, like fast requests or pro requests or whatever. I would pay more happily. I'd probably pay upwards of like $200 to $500 a month before I batted an eye. That's like how much it sort of enables me to build stuff. Okay, let's apply. What did that change? The error occurs when we need to implement required methods. Let's modify the crop view controller. I don't feel like it did anything. Maybe it did. And then update content view. I still think it didn't do anything. Yeah, hold up. So in this case, I think it's an indexing thing. It still is maybe thinking some previous code is there. Try again, same error is still happening. You didn't change any code. Okay. I think one of the problems with the live streaming this stuff is so much of it of cursor. Honestly, to me, there's so much with coding in general is just not super exciting to watch. It's lots of like, oh, this one line has an error. Let me go debug this error, which is not terribly riveting. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it's kind of useful. Same thing, man. This is not. What we may end up doing. Oh, wait, what did I just do? Nope. Cancel. I opened up the wrong thing. What we may end up doing is starting a new chat for this issue because it seems confused. Okay. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We'll also say clean the build folder. Okay, well. Oh, that's a new one. Wait. So this is not. This is coming from Mantis itself. Okay. Bummer. Okay. So this may be. This may be telling us that Mantis isn't an option. Mention Catalyst. I don't know what Catalyst is. Let's see. I don't love that. Let's see. Let's see. Mac OS Swift image crop library. We definitely want. This hasn't been updated in 10 months, but is this still just iOS? Oh, okay. Well, maybe. Or to use type. That's kind of interesting to type in the your dimensions instead of having like scaling. I wonder if that almost makes more sense. Like, say here are the dimensions I want, and then drag the image around within that size. I think I like that idea anyways, because when you're cropping, like you're cropping it because you need a specific size, square, whatever. We could do set different aspect ratios, and then okay, that is what we're gonna do. Now I gotta undo some. I don't care about this crop view controller anymore because we're not doing that. We're gonna undo. We don't want Mantis. We'll leave that as is. Crop. I don't even know that we need the crop view thing anymore. Okay. So this is now me undoing things. Or I don't know how you remove a package. Is that a thing? I feel like there's something somewhere. Oh, dang it. Yeah, I just deleted it from cursor. You have to delete it from there. Okay, we don't need Mantis. We're going to remove that. Let's get back and see if we've got any errors just to see if we're back where we started. Okay, cool. So now you definitely want to resync some things. Wonderful. I'll leave all that out of here. Okay. For cropping, let's change the UX a bit. When a user clicks crop, show a UI to enter the specific dimensions of specific dimension. That's how you spell dimensions. Specific dimensions. To show a UI to enter specific dimensions. resize the image to fit that while maintaining aspect ratio. We'll see how this works. Neo, I see your comment about it should work fine. That UI kit is specific to iOS. We may go back to that. We'll see. Now I'm actually thinking I don't want the crop handles. Replace. We're still writing code here. No. Okay. Apply. So while that's applying, let's see. Cool. Let's see how this looks. Okay, so say I want this to be like 1280 by 720. Is that? I don't think that did anything. Show a preview of the crop as the user types in width and height. Okay. And add an update. I don't know. I don't know what that's doing. It's like, no, I'm second guessing this whole. Let's try this thing. Okay. Let's add, let's see. Instead of our own cropping UI, let's use this library. We'll add a new doc. I don't know that actually imported everything, but we'll see. I have no idea what's going to happen here. Yeah, I feel like it's not. Let's see here. This, well, so to me the issue, or I guess where we start finding the limits of AI, is sort of debugging this kind of stuff. Where I certainly don't know what any of this stuff means. So it takes me a long time to figure out or to debug these things. Let's see here. Where was the last? So maybe we will go back to Mantis and see if we can get around that. Oops. Let's use Mantis for cropping, resizing images. Reed, I agree. I mean, Xcode's a rough one to sort of push your way through, just because there's not a ton of documentation around errors. But yeah. Gosh, I probably should mention or include the docs here. Sorry. Let's see. Tomorrow's live stream with the JavaScript game is like HTML, CSS, and jQuery. So like very accessible to anybody with a browser. Okay. So we got rid of that crop view controller and we need it back. So we will add the file again. And then in crop view controller, That's good. And then back to content view. Oh, and I mentioned it's remove the resize thing because that's part of the same. Which maybe that's great here. So let's clear that. Clean the build folder. Okay, we're back to that UI kit thing. So maybe we do that, but oops. Let's see. I still want to use Mantis, but so Neo, you mentioned UI kit is specific to iOS. So that's the problem here, right? Like, how do I tell it to not? This is a macOS thing, so it's saying it needs UI kit. So I need it to not need it. I don't know. Okay, app kit. Use app kit. I mean, this is like this error is coming from inside the Mantis source. Crop view controller. I think I just did that. Content view. Wait, am I doing this twice? Yeah, I don't need this part down here. Okay. So this is still the issue here. Like, it's not. So Neo, again, back to you mentioned using AppKit. Like the error I'm getting is from inside Mantis. Like that's not coming from my app. So I don't know how to conditionally import it when it's coming from Mantis. Let's see if. Okay, so like this person's using. Is it that we have to do Catalyst? Let me ask Cursor about that. The Mantis library requires Catalyst for macOS. I do that. While that's loading, let me do some more quick reading here. What? Is this the exact same? Oh. Okay, hold on. Need to make some changes to Xcode project. Okay. Update Xcode. Okay. Open Xcode in general. Under development info. Come back to this. So the project or target? Select your target. Bum, 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 bum. Or was it here? No. Select your target in the general tab. Check Mac. Oh. The link embedded on Mac. The security app will be allowed with Mac. Okay. So maybe. Whoa. We'll see what happens. And the build phases. Yeah. Modify content view. Update the simple image. Balabus, sorry. Rails will be in the future app. Adjust image handling in your content view. We're getting into this territory here where like I'm making a ton of changes and like I'm going to start getting errors and have no idea how to work my way out of them. Let's see. Right. Okay. Let's work our way through some of these. This is in crop view controller. Line 33. Let me come back. Maybe I won't come back. Man, so this just straight up isn't working. Okay, let's do this. I'm getting lots of errors in my crop view controller. Rework this file from scratch. Based on using macOS Catalyst. And we care about content view and simple. Okay. Maybe this. Essentially resets some stuff. Okay. That's different errors now, which is nice. Line 20. Oops. Let's see what that did for us. I fixed that error. I almost feel like these aren't needed. Like, is that okay? We'll just add all these errors. sort of getting there. What is that? 28. Add to chat. No. Where does that come? Oh. Okay. So why? Well, I feel like we're duplicating some stuff here. So we've got content, which crop view. Yeah, I don't think we're using this. Let's move to the trash. Wait. Where was I using crop view? Let's. Okay. We're sort of getting there. I still feel like it's like duplicating some stuff here. Like the NS image stuff. I thought it was up here. Yeah. So I don't. Okay. We're getting there. Let me resync. There's a new set of errors here. So in content view, line 55. Got add that to the chat. Say this, that error. Read to your point about Xcode not being documented enough to handle writing it. So I do agree with that in general. It certainly is capable, but there's a lot more. So I think the documentation is probably relatively decent. What I don't think is there's as much. You think of like Stack Overflow having lots of people have asked lots of questions about it, so there's lots of people just working out errors. That is not as popular as probably web-based stuff. Let's see here. So I think that ends up being your problem is like people just haven't debugged things as much. Whereas like you think of something like Rails or Python, certainly JavaScript, like I have this error and I could search for it and it would almost certainly come up in Google. So that means like large language models have essentially indexed that stuff and know the general answer for it. just go around in circles here. Let me try to fix this other error first. Maybe that sometimes will fix other things. Let's see if this particular thing right here does not fix at least this error, I'm going to try mentioning Swift docs and see if that kind of helps guide things a little bit. More errors. Okay. Okay, this one's really bothering me for whatever reason. So we're gonna, which maybe these errors are unrelated, but well, I thought the Swift docs. Maybe it's Xcode. We're going to throw this in here. My hunch is it's not going to work great, but it index. Let's see. Throw this in there too. See what happens. And then we'll also throw in, so you can mention the web, and it will essentially go and search or include Google search results in there. But okay. Requires the conform to shape style. You can wrap color in a rectangle. The heck? No. Let's do this. Oops. Let's see if this works. So this, I recall some of this from, well, actually, for organization purposes, we'll do this. Man, what is happening? This whole color thing is killing me. Oh, man. What? Maybe at least it isolates it a little bit. I think that's already what I'm doing here. I think that's what I'm already doing. Yeah. Well, I'm stumped here. How are we back to that error? Okay, so I'm wondering, this is a Mac Catalyst app. So keep that in mind when writing code. No need to account for macOS specifically. Okay. Whoops. The NS image stuff. Here's what I'm going to do. Rework this page, keeping in mind that we're building a Mac Catalyst app, not a Mac OS app. Closer. Maybe. What line is that? 76. Oops. This feels like we're coming back around to errors we were seeing before. Ah, okay. Jeez. Some type of, whoops. No, I can't drag. Okay. No more errors, but now that dragging and dropping is not working. I think this might be in content view, but can't drag drop. Also kind of wonder if this is one of those scenarios where trying to use Swift isn't the best move here. Like, is this one of those use JavaScript and try to make it cross-platform or something like that? Okay, let's see here. Sweet baby Jesus. All sorts of problems here. Okay, content view. Or maybe I need to quit going the Swift UI route. Like, try to just build it in straight up Swift. Because maybe there's just too much sort of baggage that comes from the Swift UI stuff. I don't know. I am feeling myself slow down here, for what it's worth. Like, it might be time to take a break. Call this like a part 1. And then in the future date, tackle this as part 2. Yeah. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to call it for now. I'm going to go eat some lunch. And then I may pick up streaming this thing again as like a part 2. But it's interesting. We're like minor success. You know, there's still not the functionality that I'm after here, but you kind of start feeling out what is or isn't possible. What you what I found with AI stuff is after when you keep going in circles on the errors and like keep finding these same errors, it's like, okay, maybe I'm tackling this whole thing from the wrong angle. Which I think exists also when you're not doing AI assisted stuff. But it's like the AI itself is sort of, for whatever reason, is arriving at the same conclusions, even though they're incorrect. And so coming at it from a different angle could be useful. So I may try tackling this. Like, I did not approach this from a Mac Catalyst perspective before, which maybe is a better idea, or maybe I should only be doing this as a Swift app and not Swift UI. I don't know. I'll explore that in the future. But either way, thanks for hanging out and following along for what? We're almost 2 hours into this thing. So nice little test. Tomorrow, we will not be touching Xcode stuff at all. It'll all just be HTML, CSS, and JavaScript for that post-apocalyptic game. Either way, that's all. Thanks for tuning in, and hit me up on Twitter at Schwigford with feedback or questions or whatever. So we'll see you around.